The journey of this 15-year-old girl has stalled. She lives in Miami, but she cannot leave these bare rooms with her buzzers and the bars. She wears pajamas in the middle of the day and studies in a school for transient students.
Injustice for all.
She eats boiled chicken because her stomach is in knots. Her face says it all. Her life is in limbo, and she sees no way out. Her American dream has become a dream deferred.
Do you feel far from everybody? What does that feel like?
Sad.
Do you feel like you're in jail?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
She is confined in Boys Town Children's Village, one of 41 detention centers where the U.S. government holds immigrant children. Children who entered this country illegally all by themselves. Last year, 7,200 children were detained in shelters like this. She came searching for her mother, who left her years ago. A U.S. judge has ordered her deported back to Central America. We've agreed not to use her real name, so we'll call her Marta. Marta is locked up at a center whose name was once synonymous with the rescue of child refugees.
This is one of the boys' dorms.
Boys Town director Karen Husted.
It's very difficult for them because they've been apprehended. So
They're traumatized.
They're traumatized. Sometimes they come in handcuffs.
They come in handcuffs?
Sometimes.
Even the little children come in handcuffs?
Sometimes.
Does it sometimes seem unfair? I mean,
No, it always seems unfair.
Always.
Always seems unfair. Because they struggle so hard to get here, but they don't consider poverty enough for somebody to stay here. And a lot of the children are driven by poverty.
When Marta was 7, her mother took off for the United States, leaving Marta and her siblings with their grandmother. Marta left at age 12, to try to join her. Her grandmother was dying of cancer. There was no one else to care for her. A smuggler helped her cross the Rio Grande in an inner tube.
They put a float around you, and you held on. Can you swim? How long did it take?
A few minutes.
Just a few minutes.
Yeah.
She was later caught by Border Patrol, who placed her with a foster family near her mother. When she finally saw her mother, Marta barely recognized her.
When I see her, it's like, you know, my mom.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Living with her mother was full of tension. Her mother had a new 5-year-old daughter and a boyfriend.
I want to live with her, but not with her boyfriend. Because he's not my dad, you know. And I have a lot of problems with him.
You didn't like him?
Mm-mm.
Still, Marta was able to go to school, learn English, and make friends. 2 years later, when she finally went to court, a judge ordered her deported. She was sent to Boys Town to await her fate. Michelle Abarca, a Latina of Nicaraguan descent, has volunteered to fight Marta's deportation. As a lawyer for the Florida Immigrant Advocacy Center, Michelle is the only person on Marta's side.
They have a right to an attorney, but the government will not pay for an attorney. So if they don't have a pro bono attorney, they have to go there on their own, regardless of their age, and present their cases.
So you mean 5-year-olds are responsible for their case?
Correct.
Michelle wants to file a petition in Marta's name, asking the court to declare her abused, abandoned, and neglected. Marta would be accusing her mother of being unfit because she failed to protect her from abuse. She wants the judge to understand that no one here can care for her, and no one in her home country can take her back. Then she might qualify for a visa to stay in the United States. But the petition troubles Marta. If she wins, she might not ever see her mother again. Ironically, she wears a T-shirt that says, "I want my mom back."
We just want to make sure that we tell the judge what really happened. Okay? All right.
To win her case, she has to point a finger at her mother in a court.
Yes, she has to explain what has happened to her. and that necessarily implies saying something about her mother.
It's a painful decision to make. Her mother, or a shot at life in America. The Pedro Pans, who fled Cuba 50 years ago, arrived under much different circumstances. They had no need for lawyers. The goal was to reunite them with their parents.
The entrance was like up here.
Former U.S. Senator Mel Martinez was one of them.
Our cabins were here.
Do you see similarities between you as a lonely 15-year-old by himself in a country not speaking the language and some of these kids who are at Boys Town now?
I think the hopelessness, the lack of direction, I mean, their situation in many ways is probably much more difficult than mine, because sometimes there's not even a family structure there for them.
The success of America's investment in Cuban refugees is on full display. Miami has become a thriving center of Latin culture. A place where Cuban musicians, like former Pedro Pan, Willie Chirino, take center stage. Willie is married to Lisette Alvarez, a cultural icon in her own right. Lisette is also a Pedro Pan.
I remember when my parents said goodbye to us, and my father said, "Don't worry, in 6 months, you know, you're gonna be back and everything is gonna be okay."
Did you believe him?
I told him, please, you have to come and be with us.
We interviewed a young girl today. She's 15.
When I tell her Marta's story, she feels an instant connection.
She's so lonely. She's detained. She misses her mother.
Oh, that's terrible. I mean, I feel a lot of compassion for that. I wish that this situation could be solved for all kids.
Months later, Marta's story is still haunting Lisette. She told me she wants to help Marta. True to her word, Lisette has reached out to Marta.
I got her a phone. She called me. We decided she was going to come over. She came over one night, and then we went to dinner.
The relationship has opened a door for Marta.
I feel good. Like I'm free. I'm free.
But she's not really free yet. Marta still has to face a federal immigration officer who could either deport her or grant her a visa to stay in the United States.
Do you worry about what's going to happen in immigration court?
No. No.
Why?
Because I have Michelle in the house. My God.
The night before Marta's final immigration hearing, Michelle worries.
Tonight is crunch time. The uncertainty is definitely difficult. To think that if something goes wrong, I have to put this child in a situation where she may be sent back to a place that's not safe for her.
The next morning, Miami flies by on what could be Marta's last ride in the city.
I want to have more opportunities, study, finish my high school. I don't know, I have a lot of dreams.
It all began when she crossed the Rio Grande in an inner tube. Now, behind these doors, her journey will end, one way or another. "45 minutes later, Marta comes out with a U.S. visa and a world of possibilities.
This is something that they are giving you, an opportunity. I really hope that with this, she will go and do great things.
Now I can do anything, study, go to college, make money in the future. I feel grateful.